Here we are.
All right. Good afternoon for us, Simon. Good morning for you guys. Welcome to this second session of Host to Host here with Simon, our special guest. He comes all the way from the UK, but he lives in Brussels, right?
Yep.
Simon, I know him for a couple of years, I think 3 years already, through Catherine.
More than
Catherine,
that,
she was here last week with us as well.
nearly 5 years.
Is it 5 years already? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, thank you for correcting me. I'm so bad with numbers. But like he's such a nice guy and he was willing to help us with this. Like accent is very important. And I'm going to stop talking right now because I think it's time for you guys to hear Simon and his very special accent. I mean, we Brazilians, we have our own. Everybody has their own, but Simon's is pretty amazing. Okay, Simon, are you ready to start?
Yeah, just ask away. I'll answer some questions, as many as I can.
First person.
Well, guys, just to let you know, if you have questions, just raise your hands and I'll put your name in a queue, so everyone will have the opportunity to make questions, right? But I think Vladimir would say something, so go ahead.
No, I think I just wanted to know where about Simon are you from? Which city?
I'm from Birmingham in the United Kingdom. It's Middle England, central part of UK.
Nice. I visited there.
You've been to Birmingham?
Yeah. I used to live in UK.
Oh, whereabouts?
Yeah. So several places, mainly in London and the surrounding areas. But the last 5 years I was in Eastcote, close to Pinner.
Oh yes, Southeast London. Southeast, yeah. So you got sort of a Cockney accent then. You picked up some of the London
Really?
slang words.
Oh yeah, Londoner, yes.
An honorary Londoner.
Small words, guys, you see?
I know it is.
I want to know more about you, Simon. What do you do?
Me, I'm a landscape gardener.
Oh wow.
Construction in gardens. I have my own business in Brussels, well, just outside Brussels. This is my 10th year. I've been doing it in Brussels, but I've been a landscaper since I left school, a long 35 years ago. So, I'm old.
Wow, I'm so impressed, Simon, because I do love plants and landscaping is something that I'm willing to kind of get into. At the moment, I'm just in the gardening phase, but yeah, interesting.
That's the most enjoyable part, gardening, because you're actually watching something produce. It's like now it's spring, everything's just starting to come to life again. So it's the best time of year.
Indeed.
With the colors, I love the colors because when you're coming out of winter, everything's so gray and so boring, and then all of a sudden you see all the colors and it's just lovely.
Oh yeah, and all the shades of green as well. It's beautiful.
Yeah, there's so many different shades of green. It's amazing. And smells as well. The flowers. Oh, I like my flowers.
So Simon, you are the guy who have the ideas, or you develop the way. For example, a place wants a landscape. You develop this. You have the ideas, or they give you information and based on their
that's it. I'll speak to the customer first and talk about what they want, what would they like to see, and then I can start to give them information. But usually I talk too much when I'm talking about plants, and I think I just overload them with too much information. So
I wouldn't mind, Simon. Go ahead.
Just ask me a question. But yeah, I like my plants. So.
Yeah, I do have my kokedamas close to me. I do this kokedamas, which is the art of cultivating plants on a ball.
Yeah.
And it's a derivated from bonsai. It's a Japanese technique.
Right.
So I do that because I have thousands of them around my place, and I have so many plants and vases as well. So I'm kind of thinking to do a business, like a side business with that, because everybody on my street sees that I am kind of handling plants and doing beautiful things, and they ask me, "Oh, okay." So I've sold already a couple of
Brilliant.
them, and yeah.
Excellent.
Hi, Simon.
Hey, how you doing?
Ludmila, would you like to ask you a question?
No,
Go
go
ahead,
ahead.
please. Okay, thank you. Simon, I watched a series named Peaky Blinders. Have you heard about this TV show?
I have,
okay,
yeah.
it's very nice because everything happens in your city, right?
Yeah.
And I'm a little curious because I went to London last year. You know, it's a very crazy place. It's very crowded. I remember I was in an escalator and everybody was in a hurry. You know, I'm so sorry, but I'm in a hurry.
It sounds about right, yeah.
Please,
but
stay in the right place. Yeah, but in your city, the same happens, or it's a little different.
It's a bit more relaxed. Brummies, that's what we call people from Birmingham. We're a bit more calmer than the bigger cities. But where Peaky Blinders is set, that's where I come from. I come from Small Heath. That's where I was born. So I'm a Peaky Blinder. That's where I was actually born. Edward Road, where they have their pub where they go for the drink, is called Edward Road. That's the road I lived on when I was 2. So, but I'm not related to any of them because they're all very very naughty people. But it's a fantastic series. It really is good.
Yeah, it's really good. Do they still drink a lot of whiskey?
The Irish do, yeah. Mainly beers in Birmingham, like a dark beer. It's called like a black. They call it a black and tan. It's like a dark beer. It's nearly black with a sort of brown coloured head. They don't drink much lagers, but the Irish community in Birmingham drinks a lot of whiskey. Yeah, they like their whiskey. So.
Thank you.
And Simon, I'd like to ask, why did you move to Brussels?
Why did I move to Brussels? Friends and work, really. I know Catherine and friends here, and I used to come over to visit, and I'd end up working for people while I was here. So I thought, let's see what happens, start a job, start a business, and see what happens. And I haven't looked back since. So, and it's nice. It's better than Britain now. Britain's a bit pants. So
How long have you been there? Sorry, Matthias. How long have you been there?
I've been here now. This is my 10th year. 10 years. So
Okay.
Do you speak Dutch or French?
No. No. I know words. I would never starve, put it that way. I'd always be able to order food. So that's not too bad.
Starve.
No, I'd never starve. But no, I'm English, so I'm lazy. I don't do languages very well. I keep getting told off about it, but I get by.
Simon, so the majority of your time, do you speak basically English?
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of my customers are expats, so they're from different countries all over the world, so they generally speak English anyway. When I do try to speak a bit of French or a bit of Dutch, they just go, "Oh, you're English," and they talk to me in English. So
okay, all right.
So it makes it easy for me and makes me lazy. So.
Okay. I think I find it very difficult because I have so many friends in Belgium and in Netherlands as well, that there is so many differences, and I've been working. Once I was participating on a project where I was 3 months in Hoofddorp, which is the next city after the airport Schiphol in Netherlands, and I've been trying to kind of have just the basic words to be polite with people, because I was there for 3 months. I simply couldn't. Sorry, Simone.
You said at least the name of the airport you should be able to pronounce correctly.
Schiphol.
It's Schiphol.
It's Schiphol.
Yeah.
Schiphol. Schiphol.
SCH becomes for us Brazilians. So it's you went to Hoofddorp. Hoofddorp. That is a city that is close to Amsterdam, and even closer to airport. Schiphol. Okay.
Good, thank you.
So just coming back to Simon's explanation, that is so true, because in Brussels, it is the only city in Belgium where 90% of the people who are from Brussels are trilingual.
Yeah, trilingual, yeah.
There are people, of course, from everywhere in the world who lives there, and like Simon, just speak English, no problem at all. All right.
Oh.
And there's a little part of Brussels that they don't speak Dutch, Flemish, and there are also a little parts that they don't speak French. But mostly, if they call themselves Brussels, they are trilingual.
Yeah.
It's like English has become like a unifying language in Brussels.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's quite strange. I live in the Flemish part of Belgium, so it's technically Dutch speaking, and then in the south is French speaking, but they don't like each other.
Oh.
So if you speak French to someone from a Flemish speaker and you speak French, they'll speak to you in English rather than speak Dutch, rather than speak French to you, and vice versa. It's quite an experience.
Oh my
And
God.
it's good. That's how they find a way. They found a way to stop fighting, because they're very proud of their culture, of their language. So English, it's fine.
It's a unifying language. And then down in the corner, you've got a little tiny pocket of German-speaking people.
As well,
there's only about 30 of them, I think, so it's not very big.
Wow.
I get by.
It's
a very interesting place, so there's always something to talk about.
And the Flemish, it's like a dialect in between Dutch and French, or no? It's completely.
I think they call it baby Dutch, because it's not what you'd speak in the Netherlands. But when you're speaking to someone who's Flemish, you'll hear French words in there, like they'll say merci, and ça va, they'll say that as well. So there's some of the words have crossed over into the language. So, and it's the same in the south as well. You'll hear every now and then you might hear a Dutch word when someone who's speaking French.
Okay.
There'll be a Dutch word passed in there. So.
In your opinion, what the biggest difference can be a cultural difference between United Kingdom and Belgium?
The biggest difference?
Yeah.
The biggest difference, I suppose, what I've noticed is where we live is very central, so it's easier to get to places. From Britain, it's a bit harder to travel to other places. I'm going on like food. Here we go. The takeaway in Britain is everywhere. It's cheap and there's a lot of availability. In where we are, takeaways not as common. It's harder to find a place where you can just go and get, like, say, fish and chips or a burger. They have a McDonald's and a pizza, but in Britain, when I lived in Birmingham, I can walk down the street and pass 10 takeaways. There'll be Chinese, there'll be Indian, there'll be Asian, there'll be Vietnamese, there'll be a fish and chip shop. It's like, and it's cheap, but here there's not much variety, but the food's good, but it's expensive. And they have hundreds of different types of beer in Belgium.
Wow.
Britain, you got like lagers, 4%. Here you've got beers, some of them are like 14, 15%. They taste lovely, you drink it, and then you can't stand up because your whole body just falls apart. So I'm trying to think.
Sounds like a great place.
It's a great place, and they drive terribly. They are.
I think that's the biggest difference, Simon, because you drive on the wrong side of the way. That's why you say that.
It's not so much that they don't. If like you're behind somebody in traffic, they'll just pull over and stop. It's like, what the hell? They don't use the indicators. They don't use the turning signals.
I do that all the time.
Signals,
I don't think you should be talking about the Belgians like that. I think you're the one who, after 10 years, Did they get used to drive like us?
Hey, we were fine until 1954 when everybody changed. In Belgium, 1954 they changed. So it's you left driving on the left. So, but no, it's a great place. I find the people really nice. The vast majority of them. So, and it's just different to Britain. But I suppose I lived there for 40 years, so it's a bit, you get used to how your country is. But when I go back to the UK now, after 2 or 3 days, I've had enough. I want to come back to Belgium.
Have you lived in somewhere else, Simon?
No, just I lived in Birmingham. I lived in Scotland when I was a young boy. We moved up there when I was 10, and I've just lived in Brussels, well, outside Brussels.
Okay.
So.
And how about the weather? The differences in weather between UK and Brussels?
Yes, the weather. Well, it's sunny today, 25 degrees, and tomorrow is going to be raining at 10 degrees. So the extremes in weather is
a big range.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yesterday was 14 degrees and today's 25 and tomorrow's going to be 10. It's so up and down, and it rains a lot.
You mean in Belgium? It rains a lot in Belgium.
I spent all my life working outdoors, and it rains more in Belgium. And I'm from the UK.
At least it's good for plants, right? It's good for plants.
It's not good for me when I'm trying to work, when I have to keep ducking in and out of the showers. But the summers can be nice. The summers can be really hot. It's quite, from like July and August can be really hot in Belgium. So last year we nearly got up to 38 degrees, nearly 40 degrees. But it's rained since September, with the odd bit of blue sky. But today is lovely. It's total apples and oranges. It's like one day's
Simon,
beautiful.
you thought about canceling today because of the weather, right? We've been having rains for the last 3-4 months. Today is the first day that is sunny, and Simon has to sit here with us.
Oh my God. You're terrible, Simone.
But I was cutting grass this morning, so it wasn't too bad. I was doing some work this morning, so
yeah,
and it was nice.
It's funny to say that because it's really on a European lifestyle where you kind of schedule your agenda based on the weather. If it's a good time, you really get out, do something. Otherwise, you just stay in or go to the museums or whatever.
The weather says it's going to be sunny in 2 days, so let's prepare what we're going to do in 2 days, and then it rains.
Yeah,
but it's going to rain tonight, so.
And the forecast is very reliable as well. Whatever the forecast says, it really happens. Here in Brazil, it doesn't work like that. Sometimes we predict something and it completely changes. But in Europe, I find it very spot on. I don't know why. I guess the technology is the same, right?
Yeah. Lots of, I don't know, sometimes they say you're looking at your app for the weather and it says 51% chance of rain. It's always 51% for some reason. It's like, so they're like hedging their bets. It's like it's 51%.
That's so true, right?
It's 51%. It's like, come on, it's either going to rain or it's not. But some days I think if they look out the window, they couldn't tell you what the weather's going to be like, because it can change really fast. You could have beautiful blue sky, turn around, and all of a sudden the sky's gone black and it's raining. 4 seasons in one day here. You get everything.
Same like London. I remember once I think I was going after this project from work. I was going from Netherlands to London, and it was beautiful, like all blue and etc. was in the airplane. And then when it comes to when the plane was crossing to the River Thames, and then it was like lots of clouds that the plane needs to go through. So it was blue, and then the next minute all gray. And I was like, oh my God, I think that's get back, the plane. I want to
take me home.
Yeah, it's like 1 minute and everything changes because of the clouds and all gray, and okay, welcome back to Britain.
Man, it's amazing, because I remember when I was there, I woke up and I said to my wife, wow, it's a beautiful day. 5 minutes later, but not anymore. So it was very, very cloudy. It's a crazy city.
Yeah,
But,
it can change it really, really fast. Because Britain's on an island, there's a lot of weather that goes around, because you've got the Atlantic Ocean on one side, and then you've got the North Sea, and then you've got the English Channel. So it causes the weather to rotate really fast. So you could have one side of the street could be blue sky and sunshine, and the other side of the street could be pouring down with rain. It's absolutely crazy. But we get used to it.
I'm sorry, go ahead, please.
No, we're used to it. Skin's waterproof. That's what my gran used to say. Your skin's waterproof, so you'll be all right. So, okay. So I just use that all the time.
Simon, here in Brazil, we have a lot of information, a lot of news from the United Kingdom. And I'd like to ask you a question. Here in Brazil, we have different opinions, different point of view. But I'd like to ask you to know your point of view, your personal opinion. After the Brexit, in your opinion, is the situation in England better or worse?
Worse.
And why?
Worse. It's
worse. Why?
Because all the doors closed. The Brexit was something that the government should never ever have asked the people. That's why you vote in a government, for them to make these decisions, and they should never have asked the people about it. And it just closed a lot of doors. A lot of businesses lost work because it was easy to work across Europe. It was easy to transport goods across Europe. And all of a sudden, Brexit happens and all these screens come up. So all of a sudden, everything costs more money to send. And Britain still hasn't got over the first part of Brexit. They're still only very slowly starting now to see the businesses are starting to pick up ever so slowly. Not like the rest of Europe, which carried on, got on with it. But Britain, they lost so much by leaving the EU. It's just, it drives me up the wall. It's like you can't educate pork, or it's asking people about Brexit was like asking turkeys if they want to come for Christmas dinner. It's unbelievable. But Britain still hasn't got over it. It's going to take a generation to get over it properly, because they lost so much because of infighting in the Conservative Party in Britain. That's the only reason they asked this question, was because the Conservative Party was falling apart. It was breaking up because one side wanted to leave and the other side wanted to stay. So they had to try and unify the party. And then for the last 6-7 years, Britain's just been a laughing stock of the world. 4 prime ministers, one lasted a month. So we've got a prime minister now and nobody even knows what he does. You never see him. No, it ruined Britain. It's going to take a long time for it to be repaired. But it gets my back up.
Simon, did the Brexit, sorry.
Yeah. Brexit,
Did the Brexit impacted in some way your business?
No.
No?
No. It just, I work for people who are already in Europe, and like expats and Belgians, so it didn't impact me at all. Nothing changed for me. My ID card changed. I had to get a different type of identity card from the Belgium state, but I've got residency in Belgium, so that's not too bad. One day I'm going to become a Belgian eventually, get my Belgian passport, but it hasn't affected me at all. No.
Yeah, you have plans to come back to the UK, or your intention is to live in Belgium?
No. So I want to stay in Belgium. Yeah. It's central. It's great for traveling. There's lots of places to go, and like I said, I go to Britain after 2 or 3 days. I've had enough because they just complain. I just want to go home, come home.
Do you have the majority of your people there?
Well, my daughter stays in Britain, just outside Birmingham, and my son as well. So, but the rest of my family live in Scotland.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So, but a lot of them, they're not affected by Brexit. They probably didn't even notice it happen, to be honest. They probably didn't even vote. But again, it's something that should never have been asked of the population, because in Britain, the population is led by the media. It still has a very strong hold on what people see. They don't seem to be able to make up their own mind. It's like there's still a lot of media that controls what people see. Like people still read newspapers in Britain, which is
Really?
yeah,
Newspapers?
yeah. The Sun, the Daily Star, the Mirror, and they call them tabloids. They're just full of vitriol. It's horrible.
You mean that they buy the newspaper physical? You mean the paper?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's still, yeah, they've got all this information on their computers and on their phones, and they believe what it says on a paper that was printed yesterday.
The headlines, you know?
Yeah, they believe the headlines, yeah.
There is two newspapers which are for free. It's a Metro that you can get underground, and there is Evening Standard. That they also give you, and I think Metro is the first and the biggest, long time, whatever it is, the newspaper that it's been there for so many years and is being for free, you know. So it's important because there is so many commuters daily, and the people really get their hands on Metro, including myself. When I was there, I sat down, or even standing up on the Metro, I was reading that newspaper, because you even though you're listening to music or doing things, but you see the pictures, you get hooked by that. You see the headlines, and you kind of want to get to know what's going on, right?
Yeah, newspapers are still.
It reminds me of things that I was thinking of, because when I was in the train, all the time I was listening to "Mind the Gap Between the Train and the Platform." I was like, oh my God!
Mind the gap, mind the gap.
Mind the gap,
It's a gap like this. It's like, who's going to fall down there?
Well, it happens. It happens. If you don't mind the gap, you're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah.
Fall down.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform.
Yeah, but there is this new Elizabeth line, which is amazing. I don't know if you've been there, Simon, already.
I haven't been to London for 7-8 years, so too many people. Too many people in London.
But I guess well, I repatriated back to my country in 2021. But you know, what I felt since the pandemic was a big exodus, lots of people leaving, and also the hybrid working scenario, I think got better, but some companies, they are kind of forcing people to go back to the office, which I find outrageous anyway. And they even said that you don't get a promotion if you don't go back to the office. Okay, let me stay where I am. I prefer to stay at home and don't get a promotion than to have all this hassle of commuting, you know.
2 hours getting to work and 2 hours
exactly. Okay, for peanuts, you know, for a little pay rise and lots of more responsibilities and headache. But this is another story.
Simon, when I first came to Belgium, it took me like 5 years to become a Belgian. How come have you not become Belgian citizen then?
You've been speaking to Catherine, haven't you?
No, I haven't. I swear. Think you swear. No, but I'm just curious now.
It's I could get because I've got 10 years here. It'd be more. I don't need a language because I've been paying into the social system, so it'd just be a mere formality. But I'm just, I'll do it one of these days. I'll get there.
Okay, I see.
I'm just I'm never in a rush to do things, but I just got to find the time as well. So really, but I'll get it done. I'm hoping to get it done this year. I said that last year.
You're just
I'm getting there. It's like I'm just mulling it over. So, but I've got residency, so I don't need it really just yet. So,
is that easy to get a green card in Belgium when you were born in a European country?
It's easy if you're in a part of the European community, the EEC, which I was, well, Britain was when I first arrived here. So it wasn't difficult because they have, there's like open borders for people in the EEC. So it's quite easy. You could just go from one country to the next. You just go and register at the local, like council, commune, get your ID card. It's a bit more difficult now for people from Britain, but and I suppose I'm not sure what it's like for people who come from outside the EEC. I'm not sure what process they have to go through, but it was easy for me when I first arrived here. I just arrived, set up my business and went down to the local commune and got my ID card, and that was it.
Okay.
So
and being an entrepreneur makes it easier for you to apply for citizenship, or it doesn't matter?
I don't think it matters. It's more they look at how you've integrated into the community. Is one of the main things. So if you apply within 5 years, you need to have a language. I think it's like French or Dutch. But my commune's Dutch, and if I say I speak French, they won't. They're like, okay. They won't even ask me a question in French. It's quite strange. But also, you've got to have been working for minimum of 5 years and paying into the social system. That's a must, which I've been doing for 10 years now without a break.
So it's okay for you.
Yeah, if you have a break, it starts at day one again. So if you change jobs with a break in between jobs, they basically reset the clock. So you'd start from day one again. So if you're changing jobs, you just don't have a break. That's the way to get past it. But they're just looking like that you're integrated, you're working, you're paying a system, or your partner's working, so that sort of thing. So, and a language, but I won't need to do a language, fortunately, because I'm part of the system now. So they expect me to know how to do things. So, and Google Translate's brilliant.
Yeah, Chat GPT, whatever.
Yeah,
ChatGPT. Did you start your business in the UK and then move it to Belgium?
No. I started it here in Belgium. I had to start it here in Belgium and get a Belgian VAT number, which you need as a business. It's a business number for when you pay taxes. I had to start that here in Belgium.
And how did you start your business? Can you tell us?
Yeah. I went to a place called SOCIAIS, which is one of the social providers in Belgium. There's quite a few of them. Each area has their own. Went and spoke to them and spent about 2 hours talking to them, filling out forms, and left with a business number.
What is a social provider, you said?
What are they called, Simone? Like SOCIAIS or partner?
I don't know, because I don't have a business. So
no, but you have the people who social providers, I don't know what they're called. You know, the
Social
ones,
security.
Yeah, the ones who like you send your hospital bill to, that sort of thing. If you go to the doctors, you got.
Oh, we have several. Like I am with the CM.
Yeah, what do they call them?
Mutualiteit.
Mutual. Is it Mutual?
Yeah, Mutualiteit.
Yeah,
Mutual.
An insurance company. It's like an insurance company or something.
Sort of, but it's sort of government run, but it's organizations run it for the government in different locations. There's each area's got 2 or 3 different ones, so you're not forced into one. You can choose.
Okay.
But they also handle if you want to set up businesses or do other things like hospital insurance, dental insurance, eye insurance, that sort of thing.
No, but I meant, how did you come up with the idea of starting a business working with gardening and landscapes? You know,
but that's what I did all my life, and it was like I said, when I first was visiting friends in Belgium, I'd stay for a few weeks, and I tended to do work for them, and then they would pass my name on, and people would say, "When are you coming back so you can do some work for us?" So it's like, okay, I'll see what happens. My children are grown up in Birmingham, so I just put in for a penny, packed everything up, moved over to Belgium, and went from there. See how it went, and I haven't looked back since. So.
Is your family running the business with you, or
No, just me. Catherine helps me with my accounting every 3 months. She helps me do the paperwork to send to
Right.
the accountants and the tax office. But no, it's just me. And sometimes I have some young people helping me, like they come and help me for a few days here and there, but I need it. So, but generally it's just me, and it was just me that started it with Catherine. So.
And is this something that you learned with your relatives or parents?
No, I left. It was when I left school. It was one of the opportunities that when you leave school that they sort of say, here's an opportunity, do you want to try it? So I tried it and I enjoyed it, and went to college, got certificates, and never looked back since.
It's something like, I think we have something in Brazil. It's the technician courses we can take while we are in high school, and it kind of gives a degree that we can use for start a job or the company.
Yeah, it was called the youth training scheme. It was something you could do when you're 16, when you leave school, if you didn't want to stay on in school and do further education. And that's how I started, on a youth training scheme. Long time ago.
I see.
Long time ago.
Okay, a long time. But by the way, how old are you? Sorry.
Me, I'm 54.
54. Do you have plans to retire? Are you working on it?
I'll be retiring when I'm 67, I think. Well, a few years to go. I'm counting them down. 13 years to go. I'm not actually 54. I'm 53. Oh man, I'm 53. I'm not 54. I'm not 54 yet.
Slow down.
Can't even remember my own age. Oh, it's coming up. Oh dear. Oh well.
You forgot your age.
I forgot my age. I just seen the date in the corner. For oh no, I'm 54 in 3 months. I'm not 54 yet. I'm only 53. So.
Simon, I think that is something very interesting for the Brazilians, because there are plenty 50-plussers in Brazil who are already retired.
Yeah.
I think like for us, I mean, sometimes it's difficult for me to place myself. Sometimes I say I'm Brazilian, sometimes I say I'm Belgian. But I mean, in Brazil, there are not that many 60-plussers who are still working.
Yeah.
They start already in 50s. Like here in Belgium, in Europe, let's say, there are lots of old people. They go easily up to 80 and then sometimes up to hundreds. But in Brazil, I don't think is a situation is still, or am I wrong? Can anybody tell me?
Well, mine is mainly because that's when I'll get my pension that I've been paying into all my life. That's when
so
I'll
that's
get
what I'm
it.
talking about. Like
yeah.
you have to think like I have to work until I am 67.
Yeah.
For me, the same. However, in Brazil, I don't think they have to work that long. If I'm not even sure if they're gonna be alive when they are that old. You know what I mean? So it's different. So guys, does anybody know what I'm talking about? Like the age?
The retirement age in Brazil. Let me see. Let me Google.
And about healthy.
It's a complete mess.
I was gonna say, I think for women it's 62 years old. For women, I remember it's 62
You see, there's also difference in genders, you see?
Yeah, it's a 65 for men and 62 for women.
It depends of your job, because as a lawyer, I can say that there are different roles. You know, for instance, I work for the government. I work in a court. You know, and there we can work until 75. You know, a judge, for instance, in Brazil, they can work until 75. If you are a police officer, for instance, you don't need to work a lot. Maybe depending on your position in the corporation, you can work until 60, 62, 65, you know, different roles. But a couple of years ago, we have a new bill talking about this situation, because the government wants that we work more and more to contribute to them, you know. So it's unfair.
This is
we work like a slave during our whole life. Yeah. When you get retirement, we just die.
Yeah, but you know, Fabio, this is very interesting what you are saying, because I think that's the life expectations, of course, it's kind of developing. So we are We are dying at a later age. But yeah, and that this is the mentality, is all about money, you know. But if you go to Indonesia, okay, so you're retired, both men and women, it's 57-year-old, and in India it's 58 to 60 year. I just found on the NASDAQ website. Interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm living in the wrong country then. I need to be living in Indonesia. So I could retire in 4 years. Oh, damn.
Yeah, and I guess it's a nice country, yeah?
Wow.
Simon, I'd like to ask another question, please. Brazil is one of the largest countries in the world. We have many different accents, but it's very, very easy to understand each other. You know, if you go to the north, to the south, there's no problem. We have some different words, but it's very, very common. It's not hard. But in England, even in London, if you go to the west side, they have an accent. If you go to east side, another one. But my question is, you told you have some relatives living in Scotland.
Yeah.
Man, do you understand 100% about Scottish accent? Because I feel that they speak a different language. Is it hard for you to understand them?
Well, where we lived in Scotland was Inverness, which apparently is where they speak the cleanest English. It's like they speak very, very nice English up there. But we had
in
friends...
Glasgow, especially in Glasgow, they have a very, very hard accent.
Glasgow's it's called a ship. They call it a shipyard language because a lot of the people worked in shipyards, so they had to adjust the way they spoke. So if you're speaking to someone from Glasgow and there's lots of noise, it's easier to understand them than if it's actually quiet. Because if it's quiet, you'll be like, whoa. But in England itself alone, just England, there's 142 dialects. There's 142 different ways people speak. So in Birmingham, you heard on Peaky Blinders, the other side of the road, they'll speak totally different. Like in the Black Country, they call it the Black Country because it was covered in soot from the heavy industry. And they speak a totally different type of Birmingham language. It's I can't even understand it. It's all yam, yam, yam. What the hell are you saying? It's like, and like you go to Liverpool and they speak a different language. You go to Newcastle and it's even more complicated language. But Glasgow's, it's a league of its own. Glasgow, it's on another level. But it's sort of get to understand them, but they speak very, very, very rough.
Simon, do you think why did that happen? I mean, of course, it's an old country and it's not something that is new, but tell them, why do you think that happens?
Well, it's mainly because people didn't travel. Up until the Industrial Revolution, people didn't travel from, like, you could live in one village and the next one could just be over the hill, but you would never go there. So they would speak a slightly different type of English. And then that would grow. But as industry changed and people moved into cities, you had all these different local dialects, had to evolve into something. And a lot of them evolved around heavy industry, a lot of loud noise. So people had to change the way they speak. If you're speaking to someone who's working the machine next to you, it'd be so loud you couldn't hear, but you could make a sound that they could understand what you were saying with the way your mouth moves. That's why I was saying, if you talk to someone from Glasgow and it's nice and peaceful, you won't understand them. But if there's lots and lots of loud noise, you'll watch their mouth more than listen to what they're saying. So you'd start to understand them easier. And they call it shipyard language or heavy industry languages. And that's what it's like all the way around the coast of Britain, where all the industry was. And that's why all the languages are so coarse. But if there's lots of loud noise, they're easier to understand. And London's just a whole different kettle of fish. London's just... That's where everybody goes from London. So you got the whole world languages mixed into London there.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
That's my opinion.
I think that was a great explanation. And I think that for us, Brazilians, we didn't have that. So I think that that's the reason why, if you go from south to the north or east to the west, you understand each other, because we didn't have that history, let's say.
Yeah.
Exchange, right?
Yeah, it was like everybody learned the same and they kept it. There was not time enough to to be so proud of your little community. And I think that's the thing what happens also here in the Netherlands and Belgium. I think in France, Italy, they have this dialect.
Yeah.
Of course, the dialects are dying, let's say, because of everything that is happening in the world, what Simon just explained. However, some communities, they are so proud that they want to hold into that. So they speak dialects at home and they go to school and they speak ABC, they call it.
Yeah.
So they are very proud to say, oh, I do speak dialects. But for us, it's very hard to understand why they want to do that.
I notice that a lot in France when we go to France to Catherine's mum and dad's, and one of their friends will come over and they'll start talking. And I can understand French to a point, but they'll start talking. I'm thinking, is that person French? Because I can't pick up any of the local dialects. It's like it's quite strange. But
Yeah,
you see
it
that,
is.
especially the north and in the south. In the middle, it's not too bad, but the north, Brittany, Normandy, because they have their own language up in Brittany and Normandy, and they have their own language in the south of France as well. And the dialects, they really can be really, really confusing if you've never been there. If you could speak French and go to these places and they'll be like, that's French, because it's old. It's an old dialect.
Mhm.
It's quite
Yeah,
interesting.
for me the same. Also here in Belgium and in the Netherlands, sometimes even with my in-laws, they're speaking and I was just like, why they have to keep doing that after all these years? It's not that I don't understand anything, but some words I still don't get it.
Yeah.
But they're just so used to it. Like my parents-in-law, they have 3 children, the 3 boys. They used to speak dialects, but now with the new relationship, they don't. And their children, they don't speak dialect. So that's why I say it's a dying dialects, most of them. Most of the dialects are
I'll give
dying.
you an example. When I first moved over here and Catherine was speaking French and I was picking up on things they were saying. In Britain, we have a tendency to like really take the mickey out of each other and say derogatory things to each other on a friendly way. Like you call your friends certain names, but you don't mean it in a horrible way. It's like, for example, I would say, this is my friend Sean, he's my bitch. Sorry for swearing.
Okay.
So I carried that over into French, and like I learned about the word for bitch in French is salope. So I was going, this is my salope, and they were like, oh my God, you don't call somebody that. They were like really, really offended. I'm like, what? And apparently in their context, it's really, really bad thing to say. But to me, it was
So
just
funny.
like, this is my friend, she's my bitch, blah, blah. But in French, if I say, this is my salope, it's like, you're calling her basically a prostitute. It's like, oh my God. So I'm not
Yeah,
allowed to
that's the
say,
thing
I'm
with
not allowed to say
languages,
that
eh?
anymore.
Not a good way to introduce someone.
Lost in translation, the totally opposite of what it means to like a friendly term to me, because like I said, as the British, we tend to really like tear into each other. We call each other all sorts of horrible names, but we don't mean it in a horrible way. But it didn't translate very well into French.
This is so funny. This is so funny.
So I have to be really careful now when I'm saying things like this in public, because people look at you like, oh my God. So, but they know I'm joking, but obviously other
Yeah.
people don't know I'm joking. So that's my French. So I don't speak French anymore. Because I might get in trouble. Oh well. That's all good.
Carolina or Ludmila, do you guys have some more questions for Simon?
As it put them on the spot.
I think that talking about when we are calling our close people names, I think it's pretty common here in Brazil too. So, and also we have we do not have dialects here, but we do have a lot of different accents, and some words can change too. So maybe if you call someone a name in the north of Brazil, for example, people that lives in the, for example, in São Paulo or Rio de Janeiro, they will not understand. They will think that we are telling a bad word to them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It happens a lot. I live in the north. I live in Belém. In here, we have a word that can means anything. It's égua, the word. And it's just an interjection, you know. It can mean a lot of things, depending on how you're feeling. You're going to use these words like to express that you're really surprised or you are really mad, really angry. And if you use these words in São Paulo, for example, maybe some people will not understand and they will think that you are actually calling them names, you know. So
Yeah.
we do not have dialects, but these different words and meaning can happen too. So yeah.
That's good one, Litmila. Because for
Yeah.
me, if you'd say agua to me, I would say, girl.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
it's like piriguete, right?
Yeah. The same thing. So it's here
But
is just like interjection, I guess.
do they
How can I
say
explain?
feed uma égua?
Yeah, true. Yeah. Also, people from Northeast here in Brazil, they have a lot of this. And when they
Yeah.
use it, they are not meaning in a bad way. They don't want to insult you most of the time. They are just joking, just like calling a friend, you know.
Yeah.
So this can happen, yeah. I don't know, thinking about a question. Have you
No,
ever
but that was a
been in
very good
Brazil?
comment. Carolina, do you have still a question maybe?
Okay. Carolina.
Actually, the questions I would like to ask, the guys already asked about the weather, about lifestyle. So yeah, I'm thinking about something else, but at the moment, nothing comes to my mind.
Maybe about food, Carolina.
Oh yeah, this is a nice topic actually. Do you have a favorite food in Brussels that is from the region that you didn't have in your culture in Britain?
No, not really.
The beer, no?
Oh, beers, yeah, that's a whole new topic. We need more time for that. Beer's just on a
just one section for that,
yes,
right?
beer's just on a different
What
level.
about
But don't
olive,
you eat
please?
like waffles, Simon? You don't,
Yeah,
you're not
but we
into sweets?
had waffles in Britain. We have
As
fries in
well.
Britain.
But the fries with the mayonnaise is different,
I
isn't
don't
it?
like mayonnaise. Yeah, I just don't
So
like
what do you
mayonnaise.
eat fries with?
Salt and vinegar.
Oh, that's different.
I
Really?
was gonna say the
Yeah.
same. That's really different.
Salt and
I've
vinegar.
never
yeah.
been to Britain, so I'm really surprised there. So
The
you
fish-
don't eat
fish-
mayonnaise at all on your fries? Like here in Belgium?
I don't know about
very,
other people, but I
With
just prefer
green peas,
mushy peas,
mashed
peas.
mashed
Yeah,
peas, yes.
Oh God,
Oh,
heaven.
it's delicious. I
Oh.
ate that when I was in Brighton. Oh, delicious.
Yeah, fish and chips, battered fish is amazing with chips, fries, and salt and vinegar. Salt
Oh,
on it and
wow.
vinegar.
Okay, guys, we are running out of time. Simon, I would like to thank you so much for taking your time to spend with us. It's
No
been
problem. It's a
really
pleasure.
lovely to have you here. I think everybody got a little bit of a better idea how it is to be in England. Like me, for instance, never been there, so now I have a better idea. And I want to go there, so maybe I'm gonna book a trip this summer after this session just to see where you were born, where you lived with your family. And of course,
Just everybody just forget about London and go somewhere else in Britain.
so that's what
There's-
I'm saying.
yeah.
Like I'm not even considering going to London
Yeah.
because it's too busy anyways. So maybe I should go to some other areas in Britain. From Brussels is not that far, I
No,
guess.
it's not far.
So yes, I think everybody's happy to have had this opportunity to meet you as well. I hope you can make some time for us sometime in the future again. So
Well,
that
we're doing
people...
one next week.
Yes, but
yeah.
I don't know if everybody's coming.
Okay.
Like some of the guys, they work during the week. But anyways, that's exactly what I wanted to say. Simon is gonna pair up with his partner Catherine on Wednesday. It's gonna be for you guys at 4 p.m. I hope you can make time to meet them together. But if not, hopefully they will come back someday in the future, and then you have the opportunity again.
I'm sure we will.
So I think with that, we can finish the session. Once again, Simon, really,
Thank you
really
so
great.
much.
Pleasure. Pleasure.
Thank you for your
Thank you,
time,
guys.
Simon.
Yes,
No
thank you.
problem at all.
Yeah.
Have a lovely weekend.
Thank you, Simon.
Bye bye.
Well, see you
Okay,
later.
bye-bye, everybody.